information seems to sound great in theory, and we know that about 80 to 95% of the time, production of antibodies. So why is it not working?
What is going to alter our whole concept of vaccines and immunity is the epidemic of AIDS. We were taught that antibodies meant protection against the disease. We were taught that a person was immunised or vaccinated, they developed antibodies and protected them against the disease. In actual fact, this was never really true. Certainly, it so happens in most cases that antibodies go with a measure of protection. They don't mean protection, it just happens to go along with the protection. In the same way that most cars happen to have 4 wheels. But you can, of course, have cars with only 3 wheels, or cars with 6 wheels. They're still cars. When the AIDS epidemic started, it was clearly shown that the antibodies, instead of meaning protection, meant that you were doomed. So suddenly people had to change the whole concept and say, well, yes, antibodies really don't mean protection after all. Now, you can have, even with simple diseases like measles and rubella and a whole lot of other diseases like that, you can be loaded with antibodies and still get the disease and still even die from the disease. You may have no antibodies and not catch the disease. So this concept of antibodies that we are taught as students is wrong, and many other things are wrong, and I believe that it's going to be the AIDS epidemic which is forcing doctors to look at infectious diseases in a different way, and eventually will demonstrate quite clearly that our use of vaccines is not based on good science.
So, what do antibodies actually mean? Well, they simply show that the body has been exposed to the germ, that's all. Now normally, a virus comes in through the mouth, the nose, the tonsils, the skin or the mucous membranes. These outer layers of defence are now being recognised as very important for the protection of our vital organs within. But not only that, they are also in fact crucial in the process of developing immunity to that germ. By injecting vaccines, we're of course, ironically, bypassing these crucial processes. So, we are preventing immunity from being even achievable, plus actually increasing the risk of harm.